Hey everybody, it's me again. I bet you didn't think you were going to see my face on this channel for a while. Well, I have seen your comments and before even Smallville ended, ever since I did, you could call it my retirement of this channel. By the way, after this video, I'm still going to have more stuff coming. But like I said before, it's going to be in doses. And I've got commitments, I've got work I got to do here at home and other stuff, reviews to get finished, stuff like that. So this is not my main priority. But yeah, I've seen your comments, and you guys wanted to know my thoughts on what the finale of Smallville, the series finale, was like. And I finally saw it online. I was camping that weekend, so I was unable to see it on the live broadcast. But yeah, well, I guess I can sum it up in one word. Awesome! I mean it. Really awesome. It was, you know, I don't want to say the ends justify the means. Okay? Because I've liked a grand total. If you cut, okay, excluding the finale, I've liked a grand total of 5 episodes this season. The rest I've found to be either filler or good ideas that just weren't executed properly. And I'm not going to say that the ends justify the means, because frankly, a lot of the means did not have to happen. So I will say that the ends were still good. They're just not justified. But that's that's opening another can of worms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you my thoughts on what I loved about the finale here. And I know it's usually not the kind of style I usually do. There were a couple of things that did annoy me. I'll touch a little bit onto stuff like that here, but I'm mostly going to talk about my thoughts on the finale in itself. First of all, I think that this was a brilliant. This is not something easily done. I'm just going to say that right out there. This is not something you just say, okay, we're going to work on the finale today, and we're just going to work a regular day at the office here at the Smallville producers office, you know, like writers, just do your usual thing, producers, yada yada. You cannot close something like Smallville, let alone a regular long-running TV series, just like that. Especially when it's supposed to be basically, you know, all the stepping stones towards something bigger. So yeah, that was where I think that it was a very daunting task for the creative forces behind Smallville. And honestly, the show has been given a great send-off. These characters and their story arcs, I love the majority of places that they take in these characters. There's the odd one, like, you know, Chloe and Oliver, which I'm still an unhappy nerd about. But there's, you know, I think that I, for one, didn't think that they were going to take Lois and Clark's relationship in the way that it did. I thought they were going to get married and, you know, all the hullabaloo that all the Lois fans expected. But I think that this sort of did... It pleased both sides of the playing field. You know, I think that this season has really divided some of the Smallville fans. The people who are wanting to see all this stuff about Lois and Clark's relationship, and the guys like me who are thinking more story, character history, plot, where's Superman going. So I think that I think when it comes to Lois and Clark's relationship, they were able to meet both sides. They were able to meet us on the fence. I think that was what they were going for, and I think they succeeded in that, because Lois was able to have a good couple of times where she sort of stepped back and said, we're sort of at equal stands here. Sorry. We're at equal stands here, and this marriage has got to be a partnership. And I understand Clark, and Clark understands me. And she admits she's been bossy. I think a lot of people have been wanting Lois to hear those words. And it's nothing against Erica Durance. It's just the writing that they took with Lois this season. I think that they have really made her the focal point of Smallville, and it's become to the point where we got to an episode like Prophecy, and I was practically banging my head on the desk in front of my, TV, and just thinking, really? The second last episode of Smallville, and you're giving us this. Filler. More filler! But you know what? Just getting back to the finale, Michael Rosenbaum, as much as, like, it comes down to all these guys, like, trying so hard to bring these people back, it really comes down to the actor themselves. And the guy's busy. I forget what the name of the show is, but I saw a clip of it, the one with Christian Slater and Odette. Oh, crap. I'm drawing a blank on her last name. But Michael Rosenbaum's on that show. So to have him come down and, just put the character back on was really so meaningful. And I was petrified, like, a couple of months ago when I was like, oh crap, how are they going to cap the show off without Rosie coming back? So honestly, thank you so much for, just taking the time to be able to come back to the show, and give the character a good finish. Now, the thing with his character's wrap up, because I know you're probably interested in what I thought about that, the whole, memory wipe thing. Yes, it's a bit of a very convenient reset button, but think of it this way in the stance of what Tess was trying to do. Clark was offering Lex a second chance when he realized the real Lex was back. And Lex said, you know what, I'm happy with who I am. You're good, I'm evil, blah, blah, blah. Let's just do our destinies and get on with it. So yeah, that was something where we found out that basically Tess, on behalf of Clark, is giving him a chance to live a totally different life now that he's back alive. And I think that was a good sense. Yeah, it means that basically the 7 years of Lex we got on Smallville, all of his experiences have been, I don't want to say an entire waste, because he would have to pick up some of the pieces in those 7 years. He'd have to retrace his steps a little bit. He can't do the whole way, but he would have to at least go a good chunk of it. And it's also, think about Major Zod in Season 9. You can't stop somebody from becoming who they're destined to be. And Smallville's theme about destiny shows that no matter what forces are trying to stop it, it's always going to, work out in the end. So yeah, I'm just so glad. Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed in the way that it was brought together, but you know what? He doesn't know that Clark Kent is Superman, so as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy about that. And just so much stuff here that, they didn't have to put in to this finale, and they did for us. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for doing that, because it is so meaningful to us. Just stuff like even, the LexCorp thing. Not only just Lex coming back to life, but yeah, just stuff like that. Aaron Ashmore making a cameo as Jimmy Olsen. See, I don't entirely hate the Jimmy Olsen character. They didn't have to call that guy back, but they did. It was a little bit odd seeing that his brother bears an identical resemblance to him. But yeah, and I'm not talking about Sean Ashmore and Aaron Ashmore, if that's what you're thinking. But yeah, just stuff like that was just awesome to see. I didn't expect Granny Goodness and Desaad and Gordon Godfrey to be back, but they were, albeit very briefly. It's just a lot of stuff that was there. John Schneider, Annette O'Toole, John Glover, all those people coming back. The Smallville comic book thing was just so cool. I'll probably talk about that later in the other video, but honestly, and the one thing about the Clark kind of reliving the trials and him finally flying. Actually, I'll get to the flying in the other video, but I want to talk about him just reliving the trials and the fact that they, with some of these flashbacks, they overdid it a little bit. It was necessary, but I think that to show where Clark's come from was a very good choice. And it was great to see also that it's all been building up to this moment. And you didn't, and it wasn't just about getting to this point and waiting for the finale and forgetting everything that's happened before. So I think that that was very good. And this was like a plot with the whole, you know, apocalypse coming down to Earth. Where Clark lifts the thing. He lifts the planet up off the people's head, off Metropolis, before it can crash onto the Earth. I wanted to see something, because Clark has done extraordinary things on the show. But we wanted, and unknowingly, but I think that this was where it really paid off, because we wanted to see Clark do something, for lack of a better term, super. He's a super Clark, but we wanted to see Superman. And we wanted to see Superman do something that Clark Kent's never done before. And that was lift a whole friggin' planet off into space. Yeah, that was just brilliant. I think that was a great idea to just show that Clark's become so much of a selfless, you know, powerful figure, and that he's really mastered his powers, and he's been able to become the person that we wanted to see. And just glimpses of even the future, just stuff like that. Tess's exit from the show was, because she's an original character, you can't say it's not comic history. It's not. She was not Mercy Graves. But yeah, it was. I thought it was an interesting way to take her out, and to show that she cared for Lex in the end, and that she had learned all this stuff from Clark for a reason. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a phenomenal finale, and this was the finale we've been waiting for so many years, and I just can't thank the producers enough, and I can't thank you guys enough for all the support, even when I told you I wasn't able to do any more of the reviews on a regular basis, for the support that you guys gave me, and just the interest that you wanted to know in my feedback on the episodes. So I thank you guys so much, and you will be getting another video about my thoughts on some of the stuff in the finale, because this is my thoughts on all the stuff that worked. And because I am a bit of a nitpicker, the next stuff will be on the stuff that I just found a tad bit annoying, and stuff that I want to address as my final comments on the Smallville series. And yeah, I just think that that needs to come out there, or else I'm just not going to be able to... I'm not going to be able to live with myself if I don't get them out in the open. So yeah, I'm just going to do that later. And that's going to be the next video you get after this.